Now, in a relatively short time, the Nook Hobby, located in Ennis, has become more than just a place to pick up the latest cards, miniatures and dice. The shop, which opened at the beginning of May, has evolved into a gathering place for a growing community of players, hobbyists and newcomers who share a passion for tabletop gaming. And to tell us more, I'm joined in studio by the owner of Nook Hobby, Dan Slattery. Dan, very good morning to you.
Thanks for having me.
We were just chatting off air about, I suppose, your sense of the desire or need for this kind of a store in Ennis. There are obviously ones in Limerick for many, many, many years, the Gathering and so on, and you were telling me you would have been a regular there. At what point, how long have you been harbouring dreams of opening this kind of a gaming hobby shop in Ennis?
Oh, decades. It's been years. I've been into the likes of card games and just tabletop games since I was a child. I was maybe 4 o'clock. I got my first 4 years old when I got my first Pokemon card, and it just started evolving from there. I've always had an interest in playing these kind of games and collecting Pokemon cards and collecting the other card games and such. It's always been a massive interest of mine.
It kind of and when we talk about gaming, for people maybe not fully in the know, Dan, we're talking about people who watch Stranger Things over its 5 seasons. We're talking about, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, all those kind of things. What other kind of games are popular?
Oh, well, D&D seems to be one of the big ones. Dungeons and Dragons. Warhammer seems to be very popular as well. That seems to be one of my most popular games at the moment, is Warhammer. But you also have the trading cards like Pokemon cards, also very popular. But you get Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering. You've a lot of tabletop games like Candela Obscura, which are they're smaller than they would be for D&D, but they're essentially close enough to the same game, and they also have fantastic stories behind them. So a lot of these games, they're very underrated.
And do you have more traditional games, be it the Monopolies, the Ludos, or even one that I've enjoyed playing with my friends over the years, Catan and things like that, or Carcassonne and games like that?
I do. I actually just got in a couple of copies of Catan, and I put one aside for myself because I needed one too.
There we go. Even talking about all of this, it strikes me that gaming, it kind of, if I think of a musical equivalent to, I guess it would be like heavy metal, where it's seen as, some people would say, well, we don't know too much about that. It's kind of on the margins. It's not mainstream, yet it's huge. I think all these kind of, I suppose as exemplified by Stranger Things and the characters now who play these games, there are so many more people than we think who play D&D and games like that. I can even remember the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that I watched religiously when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been super popular. It's
just kind of its popularity is just under the surface, though, isn't it?
Everybody kind of keeps it in their back room, so to speak. A lot of people don't like to talk about them in public. Not as much as I would, anyway.
And isn't that kind of, let's talk about maybe why that is, because, even when I was growing up, people who enjoy these games, as you say, would be reticent to mention it because it's kind of seen as nerdy or dorky or something, but yet it isn't, because so many people play it.
It's gotten so much more popular over the years, and it's starting to become a little more mainstream now. But back when I was a kid, mentioning anything like Dungeons and Dragons or things, you kind of seemed like the weird kid. A lot of people didn't really want to hang out with you because you were the strange one that did these weird games.
But even within that, then I think when you find people, a shared community, you find kind of steadfast friends and a real connection then with other people who are brave enough to admit they enjoy a bit of D&D or any of the games we've just mentioned. And is that what you were already seeing in the early stages of the Nook Hobby, a real community? I'm sure maybe you were familiar with quite a few people who are frequenting the shop already through your love of games, but maybe you're seeing new people coming in as well?
Absolutely. Like when I was first planning the shop, a lot of the majority was, I know my friends are going to be there. The friends that I play games with, the friends that I talk to online, sometimes they come down from Limerick. We all come in and hang out and play games. But it started growing way quicker than I expected it to. We've only been open a month, and I already can't fit enough people, or I can't fit enough tables and enough chairs in the shop to host enough games for people. So I'm already considering expanding.
Well, there you go. Isn't that a good complaint to have? And yeah, so tell us a bit about the setup. So obviously you're selling games and the associated accessories, but people play in store as well. Is that throughout the day? Is that at certain stages? Is it post the shop closing? You have a lot of slots where people play. How does all that work?
It is. We have a couple of kind of different structures going on at the moment. I'm still working on a permanent schedule for a lot of fixed games. Currently, we have the trading card games like Magic the Gathering goes on a Friday. Pokemon goes on a Saturday morning, and then we've Yu-Gi-Oh going on a Sunday. And those are kind of just the quicker games to play through. You might get 3-4 hours of people just coming in playing those games specifically. But then throughout the rest of the week, normally you just have people coming in play a couple of board games. I always have a couple of board games put aside for people to hang out and to try out if they want to. There might be a couple of ones they've never heard of, and they get a good bit of fun out of it. And if they like it, then they also know where to pick it up.
And I suppose, depending on what kind of game you're playing, that will dictate how much space is required. So if you're playing, I don't know, Connect 4 Monopoly, it's a very limited amount of space. But, and if you don't mind me, that you brought in this fella here, I'm holding him now. He's a red, evil-looking beast. Who is he?
So that's a Tarask. It's actually one that it was one of your staff that had it. I don't know if she minds me mentioning her name, but Kai actually picked that up in the Nook Hobby last week, and she's been spray painting it, and we should be putting a couple of details and things onto it soon.
I better not drop it, so I'll put it back.
Oh, no, yeah.
But those kind of games, the ones that come with a lot, like Dungeons and Dragons, it would require a lot more space.
Absolutely. The best example I could give is, in particular, to board games. Well, for Dungeons and Dragons, a table, 6 chairs, that's all you need. The rest is just up to your imagination, up to playing with a set of dice. If you want a couple of accessories, you want the source books and things, they're definitely there. They definitely help with the games. But all you need for D&D is a table, a couple of chairs, and your imagination.
And is it just you in there? Have you got staff? How is it all working?
Well, it's just me technically. I say technically because whenever a couple of my friends might come by, they also help me out with it. If I'm struggling or I'm a little overwhelmed, or at times they help me out with quite a few things as well.
Good to have the support of friends, and I suppose we're talking about meeting lifelong friends through a love of games and hobbies and so on. And for them, they want to, well, aside from you being their friend, they I'm sure enjoy having a store like this in Ennis, so they don't have to go further afield.
Yeah. Well, we used to regularly go up to Limerick to the trading post for our games. So we'd all kind of carpool and make our way up there. But I figured, well, we can probably cut out the fuel costs now and move it a little closer to Ennis.
How easy or difficult was it to get the Nook Hobby up off the ground? Dan, in terms of finding a vacant unit, and I don't know how familiar otherwise you were with the machinations and logistical side of setting up a business. Were you assisted in that way, maybe with a local LEO, or how was all that process?
I did get quite a bit of help off the Clare County Council and the LEO. I won't say it was easy. It definitely was a challenge because I don't actually have any business experience myself. I was working full time on night shift, and between that and building the shop, I was waiting for contractors and everything. I figured I might as well do as much as I can myself. So there was a lot of renovations done to the shop, a lot of painting to be done, and a lot of stock and suppliers to deal with.
Your eyes have been opened.
To
the business.
Definitely. When I was working in retail say about 10 odd years ago, I always thought, well, this is easy. I don't understand what the owner's always stressed about.
And now you do.
I get it. It's completely understandable now.
Well, look, it sounds like in the early stages that things are going very, very well, and long may that continue. I'm sure you're already gathering together a real gaming community in the Nook Hobby that'll keep it going, and there'll be new people coming in all the time. I've seen pictures of some of the people in playing the games. They'd be of an older cohort, maybe the late teens into 20s and beyond. But then I was telling speaking to a friend of mine, his young son who's big into Pokemon. You're getting all sorts of ages in there, so it's
absolutely
good
we
to
get
see.
We get every age range. I remember when I was setting up, someone asked me like, "What's the target audience? What kind of ages are you looking for?" I was like, "Yes,
yeah. Any and all are welcome."
If you've to go in here and see the read, I mean, you're going to find something in the shop you're interested in. That's just we've customers that are beyond the age of 50. We've customers that are 4 years and anywhere from like 4 years to anywhere up, essentially.
Okay, well, the more the merrier, says you. And for people interested in the Nook Hobby, where can they find you in Ennis?
So we're just on Lower Drumbigle Road, which is beside people call it the White Elephant car park, if that helps. It's just in the market.
Okay, well, look, we wish you well. Thanks for coming in and having a chat.
Thanks for having me.
We better let you get back there to get back to the till. Dan, thank you very much. Dan Slattery there, the owner of Nook Hobby, with us on Morning Focus.